Hi guys, and happy Monday. It's a new week. How are you doing today? I don't know about you, but it's pretty hot out there. It's been very hot this weekend. What do you feel? Do you feel like it's pretty hot outside? How did your weekend go? Did you get to do anything special over the weekend? As you might know, yesterday was Mother's Day. So for any mothers out there, did your kids do anything special for you? Yesterday, what I did was I prepared my mother a wine and cheese platter. I made sure to wash my hands, of course, and stay safe and stay at a good social distance from her. And yeah, she really loved it, had a wonderful time. It was great to catch up with her and my dad again. Yeah, did you get to have anything like that for Mother's Day? If you did, you can type it out in the comments and let me know if you did anything special this weekend. Also took a nice long walk out in Steveston, walked for 2 whole hours. I was very tired the next day, but it was awesome. Okay, so what are we going to do this Monday? Let's get to it. Okay, I totally forgot to write this week's topic, so I'm going to write this week's topic here. Our topic is recipes. All right, so for anyone who likes to cook, you're going to love this unit. So we're going to teach you all sorts of things like verbs and nouns related to cooking food. We're going to teach you how to, write a recipe out in English. So if you like food, if you like cooking, this should be pretty fun. So that is what our weekly theme is, yummy, yummy recipes. So for today, what we're going to do, first class, we are going to do grammar. So we're doing countable and uncountable nouns, as you can probably see I've written up here. And for the second, and we're also doing quantifiers. And what are quantifiers, you may ask? So glad you asked. So it could be things like many, much, all, some, few. So quantifiers is kind of telling roughly how many of something you might have. So for example, I have many apples in my fridge right now. Not true, but let's pretend I have many apples in my fridge. So we're going to go into that in a few minutes. Second class, we're going to teach you some vocabulary related to recipes and cooking. So that should be pretty cool. Third class, I'm going to model this week's writing assignment for you. I'm going to teach you how to make my favorite Canadian recipe. Okay, let's get started then. So I'm going to get rid of this recipes here. So for grammar, there's a couple sheets we have. Let's start off with this sheet. So here you're going to see you have a nice, beautiful pictures, lots of yummy, yummy food on there. Got some buns, my favorite. Love me some buns and some fries and all that unhealthy junk food. Aw, yeah. So you'll notice here they have countables. So what does that mean? It means you can count them. So you could say, 1 burger, 2 burgers. Guess how many burgers I ate? I ate 10 burgers last night. Not true, not true. I cannot eat that many burgers in one sitting, but I do know people who can. Pretty gross, not gonna lie. How many cookies do you want? I'll have 4 cookies, please. In real life, I could probably eat 10 cookies in one sitting. Not very good, kind of disgusting, I know, but whatever. I am who I am. So basically countable, these are things you can just count individually. You can have singular or you can have plural. So uncountable, what does that mean? These are things you cannot count. So for example, we don't say 1 bread, 2 breads, 3 breads. Technically that's not correct. English is funny like that. Some food we can count, some food we cannot count. And so it's a little bit funny, I know. The general rule to keep in mind is take a look at some of the items on this side and compare them to the items on this side here. Actually, maybe I'm going to write out a couple of examples. Countable, so I'm going to put burgers as in hamburgers. I'm gonna put sandwiches. And what else? I'm going to put eggs. Okay. Excellent. And what else? Okay, so for uncountable, I'm going to put sugar and rice. And what else? I'm going to put, let's say seafood. Okay. So if you look at this, so for a burger, it's pretty, it's like one sort of, you can hold it, you can look at it, you can easily count it. Sandwiches, again, same thing. Pardon my silly drawings, it's a sandwich. And eggs, you can physically hold it and you can count the eggs. Now, sugar, okay. So this is kind of what sugar looks like. It pretends in the big pile, and here's a spoon. Sugar. And rice. Okay, so rice is these tiny little grains. This is rice. And then seafood can be anything like fish, crab meat, etc. Boo! Okay. Now, sugar. You can't count sugar because, okay, notice the difference? You can hold these things in your hand and easily count them. Sugar, if you want to count sugar, you have to take each tiny little grain, and you're not gonna count that obviously, right? Same with rice, you don't count rice because there's so many tiny little things, it's technically uncountable. It's the same thing with water. You can't count water droplets. Seafood, this is so vague and wide. You can't say one seafood, two seafoods. You could say one fish, one crab. You could put them under countable nouns. So that's kind of the difference. Think of countable as being kinds of food that you can physically hold in your hand. It's easy to count. And think of uncountable things as okay, no, I can't count it. Too tiny or too general. Okie doke. All right, now I want you to give me 3 more countable foods, and I would like you to also give me 3 uncountable foods or drinks. So give me 3, okay? I'd like you to give me 3. 1, 2, 3. It could be anything. And also give me 3 uncountable. 1, 2, 3. Ready, set, go ahead. All right, just gonna take a drink of water. How are we doing? Any thoughts, any ideas? Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to give me some ideas. Okay. Oh, I see somebody has written down one thing. They wrote down hot dogs. Absolutely, hot dogs, yum yum. I don't like hot dogs that much actually. Okay, and any other countables? I see somebody else has written something. They wrote potatoes. Yeah, absolutely. Potatoes. And how about, I see someone wrote something for uncountable. They wrote cheese. Very good, absolutely. Cheese. And someone else wrote meat. Yeah, that's a good one. Meat can be anything from beef, pork, chicken. So it's just like seafood, it's too wide, it's too vague to really count it. Okay. No other thoughts? For countable, I'm thinking, how about, let's do cookies, my favorite. I love cookies. And for uncountable, I'm gonna put coffee. Usually we don't say 1 coffee, 2 coffees. Usually not. Okay, so that is it for countable and uncountable. Pretty simple and straightforward, I think. Again, if you ever need to, just feel free to refer to this sheet and feel free to review it this week. All right, now we're gonna move on to the trickier part of today's grammar, quantifiers. So I'm gonna get rid of this. We'll say goodbye to our hot dogs and our hamburgers and our cookies and all that unhealthy stuff that we all love so much. We'll say farewell to the rice and the seafood, meat and coffee, strange meals. Okay. Let's see. Okay, now, actually, I'm going to give you a quick quiz question. I forgot. I wanted to give you a very quick quiz. Okay, so is it correct or incorrect? All right, so I'm going to write out a sentence. You have to tell me if it's correct or if it's incorrect. And if it's incorrect, I want you to type out the correct answer, okay? The correct answer. My trusty red pen is running out of juice, unfortunately. Gonna switch to blue. Okay. Number 1. I want a cheese. I want a cheese. Is this correct or is it incorrect? All right, so that is number 1. I'm going to give you a moment to try and answer that. In the meantime, I'm going to write down number 2 as well. Number 2, Alan often eats rice. I don't know if this is true or not. I just made this up. So this is number 2. Alan often eats rice. Correct or incorrect? I'd like you to answer that one too. And I'm going to write down one more. Number 3. This is for you, Angela. Angela ate egg. Even my trusty blue pen's running out of juice. Oh dear. Okay. Angela ate egg for breakfast. Breakfast. All right. So is this correct or is it incorrect? All right. So we got three little quizzy questions here. Any thoughts? Somebody? Anybody? Okay, so what I was hoping was someone was going to say, I want a cheese is incorrect. Cheese is not countable. So what do we have to do? We have to get rid of the article. Remember, if we have uncountables, we usually don't put an article. So I want cheese. That is the correct answer. All right, somebody has answered number 2. They said it is correct. And that is good. Yes, we don't have to do anything with Alan. He can keep eating his rice. Woohoo. Now what about number 3? I don't see anyone going for number 3. So I was hoping you guys would say, Angela ate egg for breakfast. Incorrect, unfortunately. So how can we fix it? There are 2 ways we can fix it. We can say, Angela ate eggs for breakfast, so you can put S at the end. But what if she only ate 1? Then what we could do is we could say Angela ate an egg for breakfast. So remember, because egg starts with an eh sound, you have to put A-N. So hope you remember that from our last grammar lesson from last week. All right, good stuff, guys. That is the quiz. Now we are going to move on to quantifiers. So if you pull out your notes, you're going to see this probably rather colorful looking sheet. Doesn't look very colorful on my end, I know. I have the black and white version I printed out. But yeah, it'll say some, any, much, many, a lot, a few, a little. So please pull this guy out and follow along. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm gonna erase all this junk-a-lunk. We're going to say goodbye to countables and uncountables, although we're going to be touching upon them with our quantifiers. So we're going to level 2 of grammar. It's going to get a bit trickier. Ugh. Okay. So I'm gonna draw a little table for y'all. Okay, so quantifiers, basically many, much, all, some, or few. So essentially quantifiers, oh my goodness, this is not working out, I'm sorry. Okay, let's try blue again. I swear these pens were working very nicely 5 minutes ago when I tested them. All right, so quantifiers. Quantifiers are used in front of, what are they used in front of? Plural nouns. Plural nouns. So for example, eggs, hamburgers, hot dogs, and uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns. All right, so we use quantifiers in front of countable and uncountable nouns, plural countable, sorry, when we're talking about an indefinite quantity. So if we say, I want an egg, okay, we know like that's one egg, okay. But if you say, I want some eggs, we don't know how many that is. That could be 2, it could be 5, it could be 20 eggs. Don't know what you would do at 20 eggs, but hey, I don't judge. So that is when we use quantifiers. So we're gonna go through all of these, but kind of like 1 by 1 or 2 by 2 technically. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with a table. And I think I'm going to erase this little thing here because it's gonna get in the way. All right. All right, so let's go. Some, and let's switch to this guy. That's better. Any, some. Okay, so these are the first 2 quantifiers we're going to go over. Some and any. Okay, so let's see. When to use. When to use. Okay, so let's start off with some. When do we use some? This is used before plural nouns. Number 1. So, used before plural nouns, kind of like I explained before. And also, it's used in affirmative sentences. Affirmative sentences. Okay, so what does affirmative mean? So affirmative is like a positive sentence. For example, I have some cheese. Or in this case, okay, my example sentence, so used for a noun, I have some puppies. Some puppies. And so affirmative sentence is, I could say, I have some puppies. I have some puppies. And third, oh shoot, I did not leave enough room. Okay, unfortunately, I'm going to erase number 1. I apologize. Number 3, okay. So we use some, so used in questions. So questions, we want people to say yes to. So these are basically offers or requests. So I'm going to give an example sentence to better demonstrate this. Okay. Would you like some puppies? Would you like some puppies? I have too many puppies. Please take some of my puppies. So would you like some puppies? So again, I'm trying to offer or request something. Or maybe Maybe I have too many puppies. You have a lot of kittens, and maybe I want some of your kittens. Could I have some kittens? So that's a request. And this here is an offer. Okay, moving on to any. Okay, so any, same rule for number 1. So used before a noun, before plural and uncountable nouns. I'm just going to say plural and uncountables. And so for example, we have any puppies, any puppies. Sorry, I should have specified. These are example sentences. Example sentences. Okie doke. And so these are used in negative and in question form. Used in negative and questions. Okay, so when I say negative, this is the opposite of affirmative. So affirmative, I have some puppies. So if I was going to say it in a negative form, so maybe, you know, this person offers me some puppies, could say, no, I don't want any puppies, thank you. I don't want any puppies. Okay, and often any is used after words with negative meaning. So used after words with negative meaning. What does this mean? So these are words such as without, never, seldom, hardly, rarely. So rarely, hardly, without. These are just a few examples. So let's say, for example, maybe I said I don't want any puppies because I don't like puppies. No, thank you. No, I don't want any puppies. I hardly ever touch puppies. I don't like to touch them. Touch any puppies. So I hardly ever touch any puppies. So basically that means almost never. I almost never touch puppies. I hardly ever touch them. Okay, so these are some of the basic rules of using some and any. If you have any questions or would like me to write out more examples, let me know anytime during the class. Okay, but for now, I'm going to erase all this in 3, 2, 1, bye-bye. Again, don't worry, all the rules technically are on this sheet. So you can refer back to this sheet anytime. Okay, get rid of that. Do you guys like puppies? Do you have any puppies? I do not have any puppies. My husband does not really like puppies, unfortunately. Okay. What's next? Okay. Oh, yeah, I think I want to do another fill in the blankaroonie. So let's do that, or another exercise. Okay, so I got 3 questions for you, just to test what you've learned. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Would you like blank coffee? Okay, so what you have to do is try to fill in the blank with the appropriate word. So you could use, what do you think? Is it going to be some or is it going to be any? This one actually might be a little bit tricky. Okay, so please try to fill in the blank, some or any. Ready and go. I'm going to write down number 2 as well in the meantime. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want something coffee. The end. Okay. So, no, thank you. I don't want some coffee. I don't want any coffee. Remember, this is a negative sentence. So think about whether you're going to use any or some, okay? And number one, this is kind of a question affirmative. So this is a question we want someone to maybe say yes to. We're offering something to someone. So is it some or any? And the last question, number 3. Let's see, what do we have? Something go on, blank, something, vacations. Okay, so technically I want you to put an adverb here. So one of the adverbs that I just taught you, which means almost never. So for example, you could put something like hardly, rarely, etc. So this one has 2 blanks. This is also a negative sentence. Okay. Any thoughts, guys? I see somebody has answered number 1, and they said, would you like some coffee? And that is correct. Good. I do see some people say any coffee, and that's technically okay too, because this can also be used in question form, just like some can be. So I think both answers would have been okay. But yes, the good job. Thank you. And I see somebody else said, no, thank you. I don't want, and they wrote any. Very good. This is a negative sentence. So we say, I don't want any coffee. Okay, and I don't see any answers for number 3, unfortunately. That's okay. Okay, so here there could have been multiple answers. So I would have been happy if you said, I hardly, or I rarely, I seldom. So any of these things, which means almost never, go on any vacations. So this, again, it's a negative sentence, and it's followed, like if there's a negative kind of like word attached to it, you're going to use any. All right, good stuff. Now we are going to move on to much versus many. Okay, how are we doing? Do we have any questions so far? Don't be shy if you want to clarify anything with me. It's what I'm here for. So again, if you want more example sentences, that's totally fine. Just let me know. All right, that's all gone. Now, okay, what do we have? Oh, I didn't need to erase that whole table. That was kind of silly of me. Oh well, okay. Much versus many. Bow, 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 bow. Okay, time to switch up pens again. All right. Okay, that one's not any better. It's worse. Okay, stick with this guy. All right, so when do we use much? Okay, that's way too small. I need more space than that. I need much more space than that. There, I've already used it. Okay, so there's a lot of rules for this one. So we use much for uncountable nouns. Uncountable. So, for example, we could say much rice, because rice is uncountable. Remember, we're not going to count all those tiny grains of rice. I'm not going to have any of that mess. Thank you very much. All right, and we use this in question and negative form. Question and negative form. Negative form, negative form. Okay, so for example, how much rice do we have left? How much? How much rice do we have? Also, you might be familiar with this, but when you're asking for the price You could say, how much is this? Because the cost, we can't count cost. Cost is uncountable. So that's why we always say, how much? How much for this water bottle? Okay. And what else? Also used in affirmative. Affirmative, like a robot. Affirmative. So, oh, I forgot important thing. Used in affirmative sentences after to, as, so, and very. So for example, we have too much rice. We're drowning in rice. We have too much rice. We have too much rice on the dance floor. Too much rice. How much rice do we have? We have too much. We have so much, too much. Okay. And okay, I think that's good. Next, many. Many, many, many. Okay. So, opposite of this, we use many for countables, countable plural nouns. Countable noun, oops, countable plural. Gotta stop crossing out stuff like that. Just use my eraser. Countable plural nouns. Okay, so for example, we're going from puppies to kittens. So you could say, many kittens, meow, meow, wow. All right, and honestly, rule number 2 and 3 are the same. So I'm just gonna go boop, boop. This means this is the same as rule number 2. I'm not gonna write out the same rule because it's kind of silly. So it can be used for questions, such as how much rice do we have? And it can also be used for negative. So here I'm gonna write out a negative form. How many kittens do we have? Oh, we don't have many kittens. So these days, there aren't many kittens sold in pet shops anymore. This is true. I don't see many kittens in pet shops these days. Maybe that's a good thing. Rescuing kittens is usually a nicer option. Okay, and rule number 3. Okay, so used in the affirmative sentence after to, as, so, and very. Same rule here. So number 3, example sentence. Oh man, sorry, I'm gonna switch off to blue now, give the black a little break. I'll grab pens for the next lesson, I promise. So, let's see, there are too many kittens. Or maybe actually we already used to here, so let's use so. There are so many kittens. There are so many kittens. Okay, good. Okay, so those are basically the rules for much and many in a nutshell. Feel free to take a picture if you like, but I am going to erase it in just a moment. Actually, maybe I'll leave this up here for now, and I'm gonna write the little exercise questions up here. Okay, so I prepared a few exercise questions. Okay, so here's the first one. Number 1, fill in the blank again. How blank pizza can you eat in one sitting? Okay, so what does one sitting mean? So it's kind of like one meal. Like a sitting is like, you're sitting down, you're having your meal. How blank pizza can you eat in one sitting? So are we gonna say how much pizza or how many pizza? So think about whether pizza is countable or uncountable. All right, so fill in your answers now. So is it how much or how many? Go ahead. And I'm gonna write out number 2. There aren't blank bears in Vancouver. Vancouver. So there aren't much bears or there aren't many bears. Type out your answers. And last one. I ate something something burgers. Burgers and got sick. Okay. So remember, so for affirmative sentences, much and many have the same rule. So you might have to put another extra little word here. So, any thoughts, any answers, guys? I'll let you think about it while I grab another sip of water. Oh, much better. Okay. I see someone has written a response for number 1. What did they say? They said, how much? Very good. How much pizza? Because pizza is usually uncountable. We can't say, we usually don't count pizzas. Sometimes we might, but technically pizza's supposed to be uncountable. And number 2, somebody wrote, there aren't many bears. Very good, because you can count bears. 1 bear, 2 bears, 3 bears, too many bears. There aren't many bears. Okay. Now, how about here? Nobody wrote an answer. So what I was hoping was you guys would say is, I ate too many hamburgers. Or if you wrote so, that will also be okay. I ate so many hamburgers and got sick. Or I ate too many hamburgers and I got sick. Okay, so good try, guys. Good try. All right, I think we have one last table, maybe. 2 more tables. We're getting there. We're close. Okay, let's get rid of these. Goodbye. Okay, and again, I'm kind of erasing the table when I don't need to. I'm gonna try to stop doing that. Okay, let's keep this table here. It's a good table. And let's get rid of these questions because we don't need them anymore. Okie dokie. Now, okay, let's see. When to use and example sentences. Let's try and get our table back to some semblance of normalcy. All right. Examples. Examples. Okay. And we are doing a little or just little. A little and a few. A few. Okay, yes, it definitely is a little and a few. Okay. Okay. Switching back to blue. Okay, so when do we use a little? So this is used to express a positive idea with uncountable nouns. Used to express an idea with uncountables. Uncountable nouns. Okay, so it's pretty simple. So I'm going to give an example. I still have a little ice cream in my fridge. So yeah, I still have a little ice cream. Ice cream in my fridge. Okay, so this kind of implies that, yeah, I have a little. It's enough. It's enough. Like, it's okay. So I don't have a lot of ice cream, but I have a little, and that's totally cool. Okay, and how about a few? So kind of the same thing, except it's with plural nouns. So same rule, but with plural nouns. So here's my example. Totally making this up just for fun. So apparently, A few unicorns. You know what unicorns are, right? They're those magical horses with the horns on their heads, and they can grant you magic wishes. So a few unicorns still live in the forests of England. Woohoo! Okay, obviously this is not true, it's just a myth, but I kind of want to write a funny sentence. Okay, so ice cream, not countable. Unicorns, most animals, they are countable. All right, so that's how we do that. So I'm going to write out another little quiz question for you over here. Number 1, and please don't be shy, feel free to jump in. He still has blank homework to do. Okay, so maybe this is somebody who wants to go outside and play, but they can't go outside and play because he still has homework to do. So is homework countable or uncountable? I'm going to let you decide. And question number 2. I only got something dollars when I sold my bike. When I sold my bike. Okay. So dollars, can we count them? Like $1, $2, $3? Yeah, that's definitely countable. So are we going to use a little dollars or a few dollars? Typing your answers, don't delay. Okay, while you type in your answers, I'm just going to erase this table and fill in our last table for now. But please answer number 1 and number 2, okay? Go ahead. I'll get rid of that. Okay. So for the next table, it's going to be very similar. The only difference is we're getting rid of a. So when we get rid of a, it kind of implies that we're expressing negative ideas, like something is not enough. So for example, little, basically it means not much, or almost nothing, like almost no. All right, so for example, my husband saw the ice cream. I thought I had a lot of ice cream. My husband ate the ice cream. There is little ice cream left. There's little ice cream left. Okay, so basically this implies there's not enough ice cream. When we say there is little ice cream left versus a little, remember a little ice cream, there's a little ice cream means like, okay, it's fine, we can have some. But little, like we have little ice cream left, that means it's probably not enough for all of us, unfortunately. Sorry. We have so little ice cream left. Okay, and basically, few means, it's similar to this. It means not many. So similar to this or almost nothing. So let's see. For example, today, few unicorns exist. So basically that means maybe the unicorns are almost all gone, like they're almost completely extinct, unfortunately. All right, so again, just like this, it kind of refers to like maybe there's not enough unicorns, like something's bad has happened to them. Maybe they all got hunted for their beautiful horns. Okay, so I see someone has answered number 1. He still has A little, that's right. So a little because homework is not countable. And someone also answered number 2, thank you. I only got a few dollars when I sold my bicycle. Excellent, because dollars are indeed countable. Good stuff. Okay, now I've got 2 last quiz questions for you guys. I'm going to write them out for you. Okay. Number 1. Okay. Here we go. There are blank reasons why I should date that guy. Okay, so what I'm implying here, there are not many reasons why I should date that guy. I don't think he's a good guy. I don't want to date him. So what do you think? Reasons. Is it countable or uncountable? Look at the end, you'll give a hint there. So there are little reasons or there are few reasons. And number 2, last one. Okay, there is something pizza, going back to my favorite, pizza in the fridge. So maybe I was hungry and I want to have dinner. Maybe I'm gonna have some delicious pizza for dinner. But alas, my husband already got to the pizza. He ate most of it and now there's not much. So pizza's uncountable, so we're gonna say there is little pizza or there is few pizza. Get your answers in now. All right, so I'm gonna let you try and answer that question. In the meantime, I'm just going to erase the board because I think we're done with this. All righty. How are we doing, guys? We doing good? Okie dokie. All right, I see somebody has answered number 1, and they said there are few reasons. Very good. So we can count reasons because sometimes we might ask how many reasons. I don't know, for example, sometimes you'll hear this expression, give me 3 reasons why I should hire you. So reasons are indeed countable. And I don't see anyone answering this one. You sure? No thoughts about it? Okay, well the answer is uncountable, which means there is little pizza in the fridge. So basically this kind of refers to there's not enough pizza in the fridge for me to have a good dinner tonight. Here, this guy, there are not enough reasons for me to date this person. He's a jerk. I don't want to date him. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up for the majority of our grammar. There's one more piece of grammar I did want to go over, but we are running out of time. So what I think I'll do is for the next class, we will go over a little bit more grammar, then we're going to go into vocabulary, forgive me. So for the next class, please make sure you have this sheet handy, okay? And we'll spend like 10 minutes maximum going over this in the next class. All right, guys, so we're going to go on our break now, and we're going to see you in 10 minutes, so have a nice rest. See you soon. Hi guys, and welcome back. Okay, so let's get right back into our lesson. As I said, there's one more grammar piece I want to go over, but I'll try to keep it short so we don't bleed too much into vocabulary time. Oops, wrong paper. This is the paper that I wanted you to kind of just take a look over. You don't have to read it right now, but I'm basically kind of just giving you like a very dumbed down version of it, like kind of just basic tables to explain what's going on in all these notes here. Okie doke. So, formula. So when I say formula, it's kind of like how exactly you use it. So, what is a determiner? I should probably sorry, pardon me, brain fart. Explain what a determiner is. Okay, so determiner typically refers to, it's typically going to be pronouns or articles. So articles or pronouns. So for example, and, or, their, our, your, my, plus a noun. So that is a determiner. It kind of refers to like something that belongs to someone. I'm going to get into more detail about it and give proper sentences, so don't worry if that wasn't super clear. Okay, so for no determiner, so for example, let's pretend, okay, I'm gonna put my example way down here. Boink, boink. So I'm just gonna put e.g. for example. All basketballs are round. All basketballs are round. Okay, so here, this is our quantifier, all. So in general, we're talking about basketballs in general. All basketballs are round. No matter what basketball you look at, no matter where it is in the world, all basketballs are round. The end. No determiner, that's just as it is. So essentially, no determiner, you could say, for example, all, some, most, many, few, or little, plus noun. So determiner and noun. So that's the formula. And so basically, so the noun for no determiners, noun should be plural. So countable plural nouns. Countable plural nouns. Or an uncountable noun. Uncountable noun. Okay. And I forgot to add a little bit here, sorry. So remember, many and a few, remember, these are countable. And for little, it is uncountable. Uncountable. I can give a few more examples in a minute if you like. Okay, now let's move, actually maybe I'll give one more example. All basketballs are round. Let's see. Let's see. There is little, my God, I keep saying ice cream. There is little ice cream at home. So, again, this is uncountable. So there is little ice cream. So that's our determiner, no determiner, and this is our quantifier. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit hot, so my brain is starting to fry a little bit. So I apologize if I'm all over the place today. I'll try and get my focus back in. Okay, here we go. All right, when do you need a determiner? So, what will determiners look like? Typically, it'll be something like all of, some of. So notice how we're adding of. most of, many of, little of, and few of. Okay, so for example, we could say all of these basketballs. All of these basketballs are on sale. Are on sale. Okay, so now we're kind of referring to a smaller group of things. So let's say we have a box of basketballs. Whee! Okay, so here they are, all beautiful. And let's say, yeah, they're on sale for like $5 each. That's pretty cheap. Okay, so here we have our quantifier, and here is our determiner. All of these. That is the determiner right there. Okay, so what are the rules for this? Basically, so the determiner is usually, maybe not always, but usually an article such as a or an, the, and, but it's sometimes a pronoun. So I think I may have explained that up there actually, but sometimes a pronoun. So for example, my, your, our, these, those, etc. Okay, so I'm going to give you another example. Most of my cats are black, but some of them are gray. My two favorite colors of cats. Okay, so here's our quantifier, most and some. Those are the quantifiers. And the determiners, most of, so technically my and most of them. So these are pronouns here. But remember, don't forget to add of before the determiner, okay? So for example, if you say, most my cats are black, but some them are gray, and that is not correct. So please be careful and make sure you don't forget to add of. Most of my cats are black, but some of them. This is a very common mistake in English. So if you have a determiner, don't forget of, okay? Do not forget. Okie dokie. Any questions? I didn't think so. But if you do have any questions, let me know. Now, I'm going to give you, I have like a few questions, and you have to guess if they're correct or incorrect. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okie dokie. Number one. All these dogs are cute. Okay, is it correct or is it incorrect? If it's incorrect, please type in the correct answer, okay? So let me know. Is it correct or incorrect? Okay, please write out the answer now. I'm going to write down a few more questions for you to solve. Number 2. Okay. A few her friends moved to Toronto. Okay. And another one. Just one more, I think. We have a few apples left. We have A few apples left. Okay. Okie dokie. Any thoughts? I see somebody has said this one, number 1, is incorrect, and that is right. So all these dogs are cute. You didn't tell me how to fix it though. So what do we have to do? We could say all of these dogs, because remember for the determiner, don't forget to put of. Another way you could say it, you could have also said all dogs are cute. Maybe in your opinion you think all dogs are cute, and that's totally okay as well. So there's 2 different ways you can correct the answer. Excuse me. Number 2, a few her friends moved to Toronto. Okay, so is it correct or incorrect? I didn't see any answers. It is technically incorrect. Okay, so it's kind of the same issue as up here. Don't forget of. A few of her friends moved to Toronto. So don't forget that of, okay? And the last one, we have a few apples left. The answer is, somebody wrote correct, and that is right. This is correct. You could also say, we have few apples left, and that means we don't have enough. If you say we have a few apples left, that means, oh, we have enough, it's okay. Okay, so that is it for grammar today. Thank you for bearing with me. I know it was kind of lengthy. So throughout the week, if you have any questions about grammar, please don't hesitate to ask. And remember, try to give these a quick review at home, because I do think they will be quite helpful with explanations. Okie doke. Now, what's next? Vocabulary time. Woo-hoo! Okay, so I would like you to pull out the sheet that says food vocabulary, and we'll get started, okay? So I'm going to erase this in the meantime. Nice, beautiful new pen. Looks so wonderful. Yee. Okay. What kind of food do you like, guys? For me, I love sushi. I don't mind pizza. I like pizza. And I love poutine, which I'm going to talk about later on today. It's my favorite snack food. But I don't eat it very often because it's not healthy. All right. Sweet, that's all done. Okay, vocabulary, food, vocabulary, vocabulary, whee! Okay, so we have a lot of words. We're not going to go over every single one, obviously, but we have different categories. Like we have verbs, so it's like verbs you use when you're talking about cooking or making a type of food. And we have food packaging, which I'm not really going to go over today, I think, because I want to focus on like the food verbs. And we have food condition, talking about fresh or rotten. I'll do a little bit of focus on this. And okay, I know it says food verbs here, but we're kind of already going to cover that in another way. And quantities, again, I'm probably not going to cover too much of that today, but maybe another day. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, so where should we start? Okay, we're going to start with the simple one of add. All right, so for this vocabulary, I'm not going to write out the definition on the board because you have the definitions here already. I will tell you the definition and I'm going to give an example sentence. That is what I'll do. So what does add mean? So basically add means to put ingredients together. So for example, you might be familiar with this. 1 + 1 = 2. This is called addition. Or when you take 1 and you add 1, you have 2. That is what add kind of means. Okay, so for example, I always add salt and pepper to my eggs in the morning. So every morning I try to have one egg at breakfast, because eggs are very good for filling you up and they have a lot of protein. They're quite healthy. But I need salt and pepper, otherwise I can't eat my eggs. I just find them too bland, boring, and tasteless. So I always add salt and pepper to my eggs every morning. Okay, and when you're talking about cooking instructions, this is a very good verb to know as well. So for example, okay guys, today we're gonna learn how to make scrambled eggs. Woohoo! All right, first, crack an egg. Second, stir it. Third step, add salt and pepper. So that's another example of add. Okie doke, let's move on to another word. If you have any trouble understanding these or want more example sentences, just let me know anytime. Cool. Number 2, bake. What is baking? So bake is when you cook something in the oven by using heat. And you all know what an oven is, I hope. So here we go. So this is your oven. So often something that you might bake could be like cookies, for example. You're gonna put them in the oven. They're gonna get nice and warm. So I'm gonna say, I bake cookies often. Not true, I don't bake cookies very often anymore. When I was a teenager, I used to bake cookies like once or twice a week. I loved it. All right, so you might also hear this often. If you have a recipe that requires you to use an oven, the recipe might say, set your oven's temperature to 425 degrees on bake. Because you can have broil or bake. I think there's a cleaning function for your oven too. So this is bake. Okay, let's do one more, and then I'm gonna ask you a little discussion question. Chop. Okay, what is chop? So chop is to cut something into small pieces. This is generally used for vegetables. So, for example, when someone is giving you a recipe, they might say, chop the carrots into small pieces. Into small pieces. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so that is chop. So typically you're gonna, of course, use a knife or maybe even like a cleaver. So I don't know if you remember what a cleaver is, but we used it in our house units. So they're very sharp, don't cut yourself. So this is a knife, this is a cleaver, and often we use a knife to chop vegetables. Sometimes a cleaver might be used, but I think this is used for meat more often, maybe. So this is probably more common. Okay, so let me get rid of all this. Say goodbye to our scary cleavers and knives, and to our oven that bakes us delicious, delicious cookies. Okay, so I have a question for you. What food can you bake? What food can you bake? What do you think? Think about what food you can put in the oven to bake. Now, usually it kind of refers to desserts. Not always, but sometimes. So I'm going to give one example. Cookies. You can bake cookies. Absolutely. Okay. Now, if you have any other ideas for what you can bake, please let me know and I'm going to add it to the list, okay? So please type it out at any time. Go ahead. In the meantime, I'm going to continue with our vocabulary. What's next? Cut. Okay. Okay, cut. This is kind of similar to chop, but basically cut is like, it means to separate or divide by using a knife. Okay, so, for example, I cut a slice of cheese for my bread or for my sandwich. Sandwich. Okay, so here is a block of cheese. A very bad looking block of cheese. Wow, I can't draw. Oof. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Here we go. Much better. Okay, my block of cheese, and I just want one slice. So what I'm going to do is I'll take my knife, my very sharp, shiny knife, and I'm going to cut a slice of cheese. Sometimes we could also say slice for cheese or for meat. So slice usually means thin pieces, where cut can be used for many things. Like we could even use this similar to chop. But yeah, cut is a common thing. Like sometimes we even talk about haircuts. Like I got my hair cut the other day. Not true, I haven't got my hair cut for months for obvious reasons. Okay, next verb. What do we have? Ooh, fry, yummy, my favorite. We all love that greasy fried stuff, don't we? Okay, so to fry something is when you cook food in extremely hot oil. So sometimes you could technically do this like in a frying pan, and then you just fill it with like really hot oil but what's usually more common is a deep fryer. So maybe you kind of have like a little basket, and in here you have like a bunch of oil, blop, blop, blop. And it's really hot, but this is how you might make like French fries, for example, or fried chicken. So this is a deep fryer. Deep fryer. So that's basically frying food. So for example, I'm going to get rid of these pictures because they're blocking the way. Okay. I try not to fry my food because it is not very healthy. Although I hear there are air fryers, which are a lot better than deep fryers, so maybe frying will get a little bit healthier. Generally, I try not to fry my food too much at home. Sometimes I'll put just a little bit of oil in the frying pan and fry some vegetables or noodles up, and that's okay, I guess. Okay, I see no one else has gotten any, no more baked goods, unfortunately. Another example is cake. You can bake a cake. Or how about bread? You can absolutely bake bread. So those are just some examples. Or maybe even a lasagna. Do you guys know what lasagna is? It's so good. It's one of my favorite dishes. I don't eat it often. I've never made it because it takes a long time to make and I'm too impatient for that. But it's basically like ground beef, tomato sauce, and spices. And it goes in between these like long, like these thin, wide noodles, and you layer it up, and then you put a bunch of cheese on top. Like, oh, it's so good. Yeah, good stuff. If you can, try some lasagna in your life at some point. Oh, no, I really want lasagna. Oh my God. Oh my God, I want lasagna so bad. Ah, what have I done to myself? Okay, moving right along. Okay, oh, next we have grill. Okay, grill. All right, so what does grill mean? So it means like you put food on a grill and you cook it. It's similar to a barbecue. So I'll show you what, like the noun. This is a grill. It might kind of look like this. Maybe it's standing on some legs. Often you're gonna use tongs to flip your meat, or maybe even like a flipper. So let's say we got some hamburger meat on there, or maybe even some fish. I love grilled fish. Grilled fish is so damn good. Pardon my French. So what are some good things? Okay, yeah, let's talk about grilled fish. I love to grill fish. So So that's what it's talking about. So sometimes you'll have like, it could be electric, or there could be like a fire underneath with coals. It's good stuff. So this is quite similar to barbecuing. Keep this in mind. Usually when we have a barbecue, usually it's outside, like in the park or on a patio, and a grill tends to be inside, typically, but not always, not always. But yeah, cool. Do you like grilled food? What's your favorite kind of grilled food? Let me know. I do like hamburgers sometimes. I love grilled fish. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any favorite types of grilled food. Okie dokie. Mix. This is a very good one. Mixy mixeroni. Okay. So to mix means to combine ingredients using a spoon or a fork or a spatula or an electric mixer. Okay. So here's a bowl. Yeah. Excuse me. Oh, okay. Let's say we put some flour in and we put some sugar. And we throw in some chocolate chips because we're going to make chocolate chip cookies. Yum, 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 yum. So obviously you can't just have all this stuff not mixed together. You gotta stir it with like a spoon, or maybe even an electric mixer, if you know what that is. So usually it has beaters like this, and it might be plugged in, and maybe you hold on to it. So this is an electric mixer. This is easier than stirring with the spoon. This can be a godsend. Electric mixer, electric. Okay, so let's pretend I'm giving you a recipe on how to bake cookies. All right, so I could say mix the flour, sugar, butter, and chocolate chips. Chocolate chips using a spoon, because I want to make you suffer and use a spoon. Okay, so that is what mix means. This can be used anytime you're combining, not just cookies, but it could be for soups, it could be for pasta, like or sauces, literally anything that has 2 or more ingredients and you need to combine or stir it. Okay, what else do we have? Let's do one more. Melt. Okay, what does melt mean? So melt means you make something liquid by putting heat to it. So for example, I had some ice cubes in my water before, but they all melted because it's a really hot day out. So my ice cubes have melted. But my water's still cold. Okay, so what else can melt? Ice. Another obvious one is butter. So this is like melted butter. It becomes a liquid. So I'm going to give you another cookie ingredient, another cooking example. So for example, let's say we're making a pasta sauce, an Alfredo pasta sauce. So I'll say, in a saucepan, melt 2 tablespoons, TBSP is tablespoons, of butter. Okay. There we go. So typically it's usually just like butter is usually the verb we use for melting. I can't think of much else. Oh, chocolate melts. Okay, chocolate, butter, there's probably a few other things that I'm just missing, but that is what melt means. Remember, when you're cooking some recipes, you don't need to melt the butter right away. Like for cookies, I don't think you have to melt the butter. But for pasta sauce, you have to melt the butter in the saucepan. So be careful. Make sure you're doing your cooking right. How are we doing for time? Okay, we got 20 minutes left. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. Get rid of our delicious fish barbecue grill. Say goodbye to the electric mixer. And say goodbye to our greasy, greasy butter. Oh, I love butter so much. I like it much more than margarine. I don't like margarine that much, to be honest. I think margarine's kind of icky. That's just me. Some people love margarine. Like my dad loves margarine and he swears by it, but it's like, no man, butter's so much better. It's the real deal. I don't want none of that fake oily junk, that margarine. Blech. Okay, I'm ranting. Mince, that is our next word. Okay, mince. Okay, so this is kind of similar to cut and chop, but basically, to mince, it basically means like you're putting it into really small pieces. So for meat, often you put it through a grinder and like the meat comes out minced. But for vegetables, you can mince it yourself by chopping really quickly. So I'll give you a little picture of what minced vegetables might look like. Okay, so let's pretend we are cutting a carrot. I don't know why we're mincing a carrot. Please don't ask. But yeah, this is the whole carrot. And then if you're mincing it, you're making it into very, very tiny pieces. I don't do that for carrots normally, but let's just pretend. Okay, garlic is something that I do mince often though. So let's pretend I'm still talking about my pasta sauce recipe. All right, so I will say, mince the garlic and add it to the melted butter. So remember I said, okay, please melt some butter in a saucepan. Now mince the garlic and add it to the melted butter. This is a real recipe, by the way. It's my Alfredo sauce. It's pretty good. Yeah. So that is mince. Ooh, sorry, pardon me. What else do we have? Peel. This is another one. Peel, peel, banana, peel, peel, banana. So that means to take the skin off, typically fruits or vegetables. So a carrot is something that you can peel. All right, so here we have an orange. It's totally an orange. You don't want to eat the skin though. Blech, that does not taste good. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna peel the orange skin off. And once you peel off the orange skin, you're going to notice a nice, juicy, delectable orange underneath. Ooh, I'm getting so hungry. So that is what peel means. It means to take the skin off. What else can we peel? We can peel oranges. Are there any other things that we can peel? Please type in your comments below and let me know. Okay, let's see. I always peel my oranges before I eat them. Duh. I don't know anyone who eats orange skin or banana skins. No people anyway. Before I eat them, you probably should peel your skins just for sanitary reasons because they could be really dirty. Okay. Last one from this page. We still have some more to go. All right, pour. Okay, so this is typically used for liquids only, usually. So basically, pour is to transfer liquid from one container to another. So let's pretend to have a cup. Then I'm going to pour some water into a cup. And maybe I'm going to drink it. Okay. I can give another little picture. Whee! There's some water into a bowl. Okay, that's not a good picture. I'm sorry. I will try harder next time. Okay. It's a pitcher of water. H2O, baby. Okay. So let's see. What kind of sentence shall we make? I poured a glass of wine for my mother yesterday. I poured her many glasses of wine actually, maybe 3, 4. It was Mother's Day. So I treated her to some wine and cheese. So I poured a glass of wine for my mother and she was very happy. She didn't have to pour it herself. Woohoo! Okay, so Oh, how are you doing, guys? Do you have any questions about these vocabulary words so far? If you do, please let me know, and I'm happy to give more examples or better definitions and explanations if need be. All right, for now I'm going to erase this very bad looking picture of water and this not too bad looking orange peel. I'm pretty proud of that drawing, actually. I think I did okay for that one. Okay. And we're gonna get rid of my minced carrot. Who minces a carrot? I don't know. 1, 2, okay, there's 3 more verbs I want to go over, and then we're gonna move on to another word group. All right, next, okay, this is not just for cooking, but this is also very useful in everyday life. Put. So basically, to put something is to place an object in a particular location. Okay, so I take my water bottle, I take a drink, and then I put my water bottle on the table. That's what put means. Okay, so let's say we're doing our pasta recipe. So maybe I could say, put the pasta sauce on the stove and heat it for 10 minutes. Okay, this is leftover pasta sauce. Okay, let's pretend I'm giving you instructions for leftover pasta sauce. Okay, so put the pasta sauce on the stove and heat it for 10 minutes. Obviously the pasta sauce is going to be in a saucepan. Don't pour the sauce onto the stove, you silly potato. Okay, and next we have slice. Okay, more knife work. So I know I used this for cut earlier, and maybe I shouldn't have, but yeah, here is like my cheese. Let's pretend this is cheese. So you can slice. Okay, so slice basically means to cut into thin, wide portions. So that is not a thin portion. Let me do that again. There we go. So, and then like we get like kind of a very thin slice of cheese. This is also used for meat. So let's say we have a nice ham, some jambon en français. Okay, so here's our yummy piece of ham, but it's too big to eat in one bite. So what do? We have to slice it, of course, silly. So what you're gonna do, get your knife and then just, and then you're gonna slice off a small little piece of ham. So that is what slice means. Okay, so let me think of an idea. All right. I sliced so much cheese yesterday. So much cheese yesterday. Hey, quantifiers, remember this? So for Mother's Day, like I said, I did a wine and cheese for my mother, and I got 4, excuse me, oh, sorry. I got 4 different types of cheese for my mom, and so I had to slice a lot of cheese yesterday evening. It was worth it though, it was delicious cheese, very good. Okay, excuse me. Last one, yay! I'm going to get rid of put. Okay, we got 10 minutes left. We're still good. Okay, bye-bye slice. What do we have? Stir, this is our last one. Yay, stir. Okay, so what does stir mean? So it means to mix typically, not always, but typically liquid ingredients with a spoon in a circular motion. So often used for like soups perhaps. So let's say you're stirring a soup. You're going to like whoosh. So you're gonna stir. So for example, for a recipe, so I might say, let's talk about my pasta sauce again because I'm so original. God damn this pasta sauce. Okay. Stir the sauce to keep it from sticking to the bottom of the pan, to the bottom of the saucepan. If you cook often, you will know of this issue. If you don't stir your sauces or your soups, they tend to burn on the bottom, and then you have to clean out your saucepan or your pots, and that just sucks. So remember to stir. Okay, so that is it for cooking verbs. Again, there's a lot, and I did not cover them. What I might do is on Thursday or Friday, I might teach you like 2 or 3 more. But what I recommend doing is, in your free time, please take a look through these cooking verbs and get familiar with some of them. You don't have to memorize every single one, but just quickly skim through and get the main gist of it. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Okay, what do I have circled? Food, taste, flavors. Excellent. Okay. So this one, I actually kind of want to do together as a bit of an exercise. Let's do this part together. Okay. So first we have bitter. And what does bitter mean? So bitter means it's like essentially, well, for me, I don't like bitter stuff. It's very kind of like difficult, like a very almost strong flavor and not always pleasant. So for example, black coffee. Black coffee is very bitter. That is one example of something that is bitter. And what else do we have? So I should say flavors and textures. Flavors and textures. Okay. So this is what we're focusing on right now. So this is a flavor. So like, how does it taste? Texture, okay. Texture is how does it feel in your mouth. I'm going to give you a few texture examples later. Okay, next we have creamy. Okay, so when something is creamy, it kind of has the taste of cream or milk. Maybe it's very smooth and pleasant. Like I love creamy stuff. So for example, Alfredo pasta sauce. Alfredo sauce is very creamy, probably because you put cream in there, doy. And what else do we have? Crisp. Okay. So crisp means like it tastes almost kind of fresh and like a little crunchy, not super crunchy, but you know, it's a very good taste. So for example, maybe apples. Apples are crisp. Oranges, no, not so much. Usually not. Apples can be crisp. French fries, if they're fresh, they can be very crisp, which is nice. What else do we have? Salty. I think you guys get an idea, but salty is the adjective form of salt. And so, for example, French fries. Fries are very salty. I love salty food. It's my favorites. Fries, potato chips, give it to me, baby. Oh, I love salt. Okay. Savory. Savory. Okay. So savory can kind of be a little bit similar to salty, but it might not have too much salt. But things like herbs and meats can be very savory. So for example, maybe steak could be quite savory. And what else do we have? Sour. Okay, so sour is something when it makes your tongue and mouth go like a lemon. Lemons are very sour. Lemons. All right, next. Spicy. Running out of room. Spicy. Okay, so spicy means typically it's kind of like hot, like oh. Like there's a lot of peppers in there. And like there can be other spices like cilantro, basil, oregano, lots of little spices in there. But for example, Indian curry can be very spicy, extremely spicy. Japanese curry, not as much, maybe not. But like Thai curry, Indian curry, definitely more spicy. And last one, sweet. Almost everybody loves sweet things. So for example, most candy is sweet. Usually candy is sweet. You can get some sour candy, but typically sweet means like there's a lot of sugar in there, or some sugar. Okay, now what I want you guys to do is for the next 5 minutes, I want you to think of some food or drinks that can go under here, under these flavors and textures. Okay, I think this is the only texture that I really have. The rest of these are more like flavors. So please think of some food that is, or drinks, food or drinks that is bitter, creamy, crisp, salty, savory, sour, spicy, and sweet. Ready, set, go. Okay, and I'm just gonna have some water. All right, let's make sure I covered all of these, most of them. Okay. Okay, any thoughts, guys? In the meantime, I'm gonna add one more example for each of these, but please keep typing. Bitter is very difficult. Ooh, kale. You don't know what kale is, right? That leafy green vegetable. Kale's pretty bitter. I think it's pretty bitter. Creamy. Let's see. Ice cream, obviously. Ice cream. What else? Let's see. It's crisp. I'm gonna say fries. I know I said fries here. Salty. Hamburgers are pretty salty. Hamburgers. Savory. I think tomato sauce is pretty savory. Tomato sauce. Sour. What else is sour? Okay, this is like really obvious, but limes. Okay, that's lazy. I know, I'm sorry. If you have any other sour food, please let me know. Spicy. I have one, but I don't want to say it in case you guys say it. What is spicy? I'm gonna put it. My kimchi is spicy, absolutely. And what else can be sweet? How about some fruit like mangoes? Mangoes can be very sweet. If your mango is not ripe, if it is not ready to eat, it could be very sour. So green mangoes, for example, green mangoes are very sour. I've had them before. I don't like them that much, but hey, I tried and it was okay. Yeah. All right. Come on, guys, keep throwing in any answers. We got 2 minutes left. I see somebody wrote down green peppers for bitter. That's very good, thank you. Green peppers are definitely bitter. I think you might remember I don't like green peppers that much, guys. So yeah, green peppers are bitter. Someone put potato chips for crispy, and yeah, potato chips, absolutely. My favorite snack, which I'm trying to not eat as much of anymore. I'm trying to eat more fruit for snacks. Salty, you know, other thoughts for salty? What about potato chips? Those are salty. They could also go under here. Okay, well, I think that's good. Thank you for your contributions, guys. So we're gonna take a 10-minute break, and then I'm going to show you after the break how you're going to do your writing assignment. I'll try to keep it fun and interesting, but it might be a little bit, like, you know, a lot of information, so bear with me. Okay, so we'll see you in 10 minutes. Have a nice break. Bye-bye. Hello everyone and welcome back to class. All right, we're here with our last lesson now, getting to the home stretch for Monday. How are we all feeling? Anyone getting hungry yet? Well, I apologize because the assignment explanation that I'm going to do might make you very hungry. I know it's going to make me very hungry because I'm going to be writing a lot about flavors and textures and all that good stuff. Okay. So, what is our assignment this week? Our assignment is recipes. Okay, so for this week's assignment, your job is to write about a traditional dish from your country. You're going to teach us how to make a dish. Basically, dish, what does that mean? It's similar to a recipe, like a particular food. Okay. So, when you are writing out your assignment, there's a few things that you should talk about. So, you should, of course, tell us the name of the dish. Maybe do this in your first paragraph in the beginning so that we know what kind of dish you're going to talk about. So, talk about the name of the dish, maybe talk about the flavor, and you could maybe even list off a few ingredients if you like. What else? Talk about the taste and texture. So for example, is it salty? Is it sweet? Is it crunchy or crisp? Or is it soft and mushy? All right, next, this will be the biggest part of the assignment probably. You're gonna tell us how to make it. So what do you have to do? Do you have to chop some vegetables? Do you have to mince some garlic? Do you have to stir? Or do you have to bake it? Or do you fry it? And finally, talk about when do people usually eat this dish? Do they eat it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Is it a snack? Is it eaten at parties? Or is it a special like Christmas dish or a New Year's dish or some other kind of holiday dish? So tell us about that. Okay, so here are the guidelines for your assignment. So, as per usual, I would like you to try to aim for 4 to 5 paragraphs. So that's almost a page long. I'll give you an idea of what that could look like. So this is what I wrote out. It got kind of crazy, I apologize, but this is like my assignment and it's about a page-ish, roughly a page long. So try to make it kind of a similar length to this. And I would like you to use 10 vocabulary that I taught you this week. Okay, now maybe you're going to talk about something a bit different. Like maybe you're going to tell me how to cook spaghetti. Now, I didn't teach you the word boil, unfortunately, and that means to heat water up until it's bubbling. So feel free to use any vocabulary from the sheet that we were looking at earlier. I'll try to pull it out. So yes, this will help you choose some vocabulary words that is appropriate for your dish. You don't have to choose the words I taught you today. You can, or you can use any of the words in here. Okie dokie. All right. And of course, please try to use this week's grammar. So our grammar, remember, was countable and uncountable nouns. We're talking about food, so there's going to be lots of chances to use this. Quantifiers, so that means like all, many, much, some, a little, a few, any. So try to use it as much as you can in your assignment, okay? There's no limit as to how many, but try to use this maybe at least 5 times if you can. So try for 5 times if you can manage it, or more. Okay, if you have any questions about the assignment, please let me know. Now remember, it's due on Wednesday before class, because Wednesday's when I usually do the marking. So please do have to have blah, 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 blah. Pardon me, my tongue got totally tied up there. Try to hand it in by Wednesday before class. Okay, now I'm going to give you a writing sample of what your assignment could maybe look like. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of the guidelines because I think you're pretty familiar with this by now. Okay, So stick that down here. And so what am I going to teach you today? Today, I'm going to teach you about my favorite Canadian dish. It's called poutine. Have you guys ever had poutine? You can type in yes or no, but I'm curious, have you ever tried this dish? Poutine is basically fries with gravy and cheese curds on top. It's a famous Canadian dish, specifically from Eastern Canada in Quebec, so French Canadian. Many people love this dish. It's not very good for you, however. It's very salty and greasy, and it's not something you should be eating every day or too often. I have it once a month, maybe twice a month, but I haven't had this in a long time, not since like March. Oh, I miss poutine. Okay, so for your assignment, you're more than welcome to put like 1 or 2 pictures into your writing if you like. So like this person put some pictures into their assignment and it's kind of cool, but you don't have to go too crazy with it. Okay. Oh yes, and don't forget, I forgot to write this down. Transitional phrases and words, don't forget to put that in. I'm going to give you many examples of transitional phrases today though, so don't worry. Okay, let's get started. All right. So the title of my assignment is, I'll just say, how to make poutine. How to make poutine. Poutine. Okay, so I'm gonna write out my introduction. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna talk about the dish name and maybe talk about where is the dish from. Okay, so for example, today I'm going to teach you how to make my favorite Canadian dish, poutine. Okay, so here I have introduced the name of my dish quite obviously. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about where is it from. This is a famous Canadian dish. Okay, so I'm talking about where is my dish from? Specifically from Quebec, which is where Montreal is, French Canada. There is no Canada like a French Canada. It's the best Canada in the land. Okay. So remember, don't forget those transitional phrases. So I got like a little transitional phrase, specifically from. So specifically kind of means like you're trying to clarify something. So for example, if I say, oh, I like meat. Okay, cool. What kind of meat? Okay, sorry. I like meat, specifically red meat, like beef. So that's kind of clarifying and narrowing the choices down. Okay, so Canada, it's a large country. So poutine is from Canada. Okay, where in Canada? Specifically from Quebec, East Canada. Okay, next, okay, so traditionally, so normally, it is made with fries, gravy, which is kind of like a brown, meaty, salty sauce, and fresh cheese curds. Fresh cheese curds. Okay, so what are cheese curds? Like, they're kind of like little white hunks of cheese. Like, when you're making cheese, think of it as almost kind of like the leftovers in a sense. Like, I can't really describe it. But it's a little bit similar to cheddar or mozzarella. And if it's really fresh, you put it in your mouth and it goes, ee-er, ee-er, ee-er. It squeaks when you chew on it. It's really cool. Like, this is good stuff. Good Canadian stuff. Okay. So, if you like, you could give like 2 or 3, like a few important ingredients about your dish. So poutine is really simple. It's just fries, gravy sauce, and cheese curds. So it's very easy for me to quickly describe it in my first paragraph. Your dish might not be very easy to describe though, I don't know. But maybe let's say for example, let's just say for example, maybe you're gonna teach us how to make a Korean dish like ramyun, which is like spicy ramen noodles. So you could say it is made with noodles and chilies, You could just list off a few main ingredients. You don't have to say every single ingredient in there. Okay, so I hope that's clear. I'll let you take a picture of this if you want, so you don't have to spend too much time writing. But I am going to erase it in a couple seconds. Okay, let's get rid of the cheese curds. So this is going in 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. Okay, so that is the introduction. So I talked about where, I told you the name of my food. B, where is the food from? And C, a few ingredients. If you can't do C, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Okay, so clean, okay. Now, next, I want to talk about the flavor and texture. Flavor and texture, flavor and texture. Okay. You don't have to write these titles down in your assignment. You can if you want to make it clear what you're talking about, but it's not necessary. Okay, so instead of just being like, poutine is savory and salty, it is also crispy. The end. Don't just do that. Try to put a little bit more heart into your writing. So I'm gonna transition into the second paragraph by saying, one of the reasons I and so many, okay, this is our grammar, so many people, so people are countable, so we can use this quantifier, many. So one of the reasons I and so many people love poutine is because of its flavor and texture. So many people love the flavor and texture of poutine. It's a really popular dish here in Canada. Even in the United States, it's starting to get a bit more popular. Okay. So one of the reasons I and so many people love poutine is because of its flavor and texture. Okay. Poutine, here we go. Poutine is a salty, so that's one of my vocabulary words. I'll try to underline that in blue. Salty, as well as savory. Savory dish. So it's a salty and savory dish. So here we have our transitional phrase, as well as. I'm not just saying it's a salty and savory, but I'm trying something a little bit different here. It's a good little transitional phrase you could use. Okay, so it is a salty and savory dish that goes well with some pub food. Some pub food. Okay, so here again, grammar, quantifier, some pub food. Put a comma. Such as, that's another transitional phrase, such as burgers, chicken wings, and nachos. And nachos. This is true. Poutine goes very well with all these dishes. Anywhere you can go to a pub and have a beer, these kind of foods, usually eaten together with poutine. Not healthy stuff, but you don't eat poutine to be healthy, okay? If you ever try poutine, don't do it because you want to be healthy. You're doing it because you want to have a nice, greasy, salty, tasty snack. Okay, I'm gonna get more into that later. Do I have anything else? Okay. Interestingly. So that's another one of my transitional phrases. A few people. Okay, once again, grammar points. Quantifier. A few people like to add. Like to add. Remember our vocabulary word. Add other ingredients. Ingredients, including, but not limited to. So this is a nice little transitional phrase here, including, let's see, what do people like to add? Smoked meat. That's one of my favorites. I love adding smoked meat, makes it even more savory. Smoked meat. Peas. I don't like peas that much. I don't add peas to my poutine because I'm not a crazy person. Beef chili. And more. Okay, I think that is gonna be it for this particular paragraph. I do have more written out, but I don't want to like write the whole paragraph out because it's gonna get like a little too long. Okay. So, but I should talk about the texture, sorry. So, the texture. So I'm talking about the flavor. Salty, savory, and then I added a little bit of extra, like what does it go well with? So this maybe wasn't necessary, but if you want to bulk up your assignment writing more, this is a good thing to do, is to kind of keep talking about like what does your recipe go well with. Okay, maybe it goes well with hamburgers, or maybe it goes well with pasta. All right, so how about the texture? The texture of poutine. The texture of poutine is, did I say crisp? I think I said crisp. Yes, is crisp. Crisp. Crispy. Okay. Texture of poutine is crisp when it comes fresh from the fryer. When it comes fresh from the fryer. From the fryer. Okay. So poutine is usually crisp when it comes fresh from the fryer. However, if you, I didn't write this out, but I did put it in my assignments. However, if you don't eat the poutine right away and you just let it sit there for like 20 minutes, it becomes cold and soggy and sad, and it does not taste that great. So eat the poutine while it's still hot and fresh. That is when it tastes best. But be careful not to burn your tongue. Okay, so that's kind of what my second paragraph looks like. Talking about that texture, talking about that flavor. I'll let you take a picture if you want to, and I'm gonna erase the board in a second. So get your phones ready, snap some pics, do what you gotta do. In the meantime, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, take a sip of water. I was talking about all this salty food's making me thirsty AF. Okay, so gonna erase the board in 3, 2, 1. Farewell, savory, salty, savory poutine. I will taste you once again someday. Okay, there's this really good poutine place where I live in New Westminster at the station, but unfortunately, they've closed their doors for now due to COVID-19. I'm so sad. I can't wait to try some poutine again when they open up. Okay. How to make it. Okay, this is going to be the long part. So this is where your writing might get a little bit long and crazy. Okay, so let's begin. I'm not going to write out all of the instructions, by the way, because it'll take too long. But I'm just going to give you an example of what it could look like. Okay, how to make it. Da, 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 da. Okay, so now, transitional phrase. Now I will show you how to make poutine. Okay, first off, First off, another transitional phrase. Let's start with the ingredients. Let's start with the ingredients and ingredients. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we're starting off with gravies. Okay, sorry, lost my train of thought there. Okay, so for the gravy, let's go for the gravy first. For the gravy, you will need 3 TBSP. Okay, so this is short for tablespoons. Tablespoons. So if you write this in your assignment, that's totally fine. You can abbreviate it. So we say capital T, small b, SP. I'm gonna write that under new words actually. New words. Okay, so TBSP equals tablespoon. Sometimes. And also, so TSP equals teaspoon. So TSP is teaspoon. And then OZ is ounces. This is for liquids. This is when you're measuring liquids or canned things. And then another one, LBS is pounds. So if you say 2 lbs of flour, that means 2 pounds of flour. So these are just a few little useful cooking abbreviations. Okay, now, so we need 3 tablespoons of, what do we need 3 tablespoons of? Cornstarch. Fun stuff. I hardly ever use cornstarch. You'll need 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, comma, 2 tablespoons of water, 6 tablespoons of butter, 1/4 cup of flour, oh my gosh, 20 ounces of beef broth. Okay, so I'm just gonna pretend that I've written out the whole thing because it's gonna get very monotonous if I'm writing out every single sentence. Okay, and let's pretend I'm starting off. Okay, for the fries, you will need 3 pounds of russet potatoes. Okay, and this could be considered a transitional phrase, I suppose. And what else? Okay. And, oh, I forgot some. This is our grammar. Some peanut oil. You will need some peanut oil. Okay, so there's my little grammar example. So yeah, try to make a few instances of using some, many, much, a little. Okay. What's next? Oh yeah, the cheese curds. Okay. Finally, transitional phrase. You will need blah, 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 cheese curds. Cheese curds. Okay. So that's kind of my example. So this is the first part of how to make it. I listed off the ingredients. Now, if you really want, you have the option to do your recipe. You could also submit it like this. So instead of you just kind of like writing all this out, you could write out your ingredients list like this, and that would be okay. But don't do your whole assignment like this, just the ingredients, okay? So the ingredients you could list off, or you could write out the ingredients like this. Like that's totally fine, no problem. Okay, so I'm going to let you take a look at this and take a picture if you need to. I'm going to erase it in just a second. I'm going to erase it in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, we're going to get rid of our ingredients list, and then we're going to talk about the directions, cooking directions. Okay, so this is how to make it part 2. Again, I'm not going to write down every single sentence because it's going to get long and boring otherwise. Okay, so now let's go over how to make poutine now. All right. First, so transitional phrase. Okay, now I'm going to be using a bit of a different grammar point here that you might not be used to. This is called imperative form. So imperative form for grammar means you don't put a subject. So let's say, for example, first, okay. So instead of saying first, you prepare the gravy. So instead of saying you could just say first, prepare the gravy. So when you're giving directions for cooking, you don't always have to have a subject. You can just give the verb. For example, when you tell your child, clean your room, do the dishes, go to bed, you can do it kind of similarly. So first, prepare the gravy. Sorry, I keep losing my spot here. Okay. So in a small bowl. So in a small bowl, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm not going to write down all the instructions. Next, melt. Okay, some more vocabulary. Melt. So it's supposed to be in blue, sorry. Melt the butter. So once again, imperative form. I'm not saying you melt the butter, just say melt the butter. Next, melt the butter. So melt the butter. Da, 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 da. Okay. Then, so another transitional phrase. Then, add. Okay, so here's another vocabulary word. Add. Vocabulary is in blue. Add. What do I add? Add the flour, I believe. Yes. Add the flour. And was it mix or stir? Oh yeah. And stir. I should just keep my blue pen open. There's another vocabulary word, stir. So this is where you're going to be using most of your vocabulary, maybe, or a good chunk, like melt, mince, slice, chop, stir, bake, boil. Yeah. So add the flour and stir until the mixture, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And let's see. Next, what do we have? Okay, and then add a little pepper. And then here is our grammar, a little. So pepper is not countable, so that's why we say a little. Add a little pepper to the gravy. Okay, so that's the gravy sauce. Da, 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 da. What's next? Okay, I believe now. Okay, another transitional phrase. Let's prepare the fries. Let's prepare the fries. Okay. So, first, another transitional phrase. Cut. All right, some more vocabulary. First, cut the potatoes. Cut the potatoes. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, and then let's say we add our oil. So let's say fry. This is another vocabulary word. Fry the potatoes. Fry the potatoes in oil for 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, so that is our friend. Those are the fries done. Hooray! Okay, next. Finally. Another transitional phrase. Finally. It's time to prepare the poutine. Da, 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 da. I'm getting so hungry. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what did I have? Okay, so add the fries. Sorry, I'm saying add a lot, I know. Add the fries to a large bowl. Next, or then, pour. So remember this word, pour for liquids. Pour the gravy. Pour the gravy on top of the fries. On top of the fries. And mix. And mix, and mix, and mix, and mix, and mix. Okay. And then finally, add the cheese curds. And voila, you have your poutine. Hooray! Okay, obviously this is a very abridged version. Like I said, I didn't want to write down every single sentence because it's probably going to bore you quite a bit. But just pay attention, especially to all the transitional phrases I've been using, all the vocabulary. Maybe I could say then because I feel like I've been using next a lot. So you should have a file. I didn't print it off, unfortunately, I'm sorry. But you should have a file for transitional phrases. Please do refer to that to help you add on some transitional phrases. This is especially very important and good when you're describing recipes and how to do the recipe. So your transitional phrasing is going to come into it's really going to come in handy here. Okay, and don't forget, use that vocabulary. I think I added 5, 6. All right, so 6 pieces of vocabulary I've used here so far. And I used like 2, I think I used 2 vocabulary in the beginning and I'll use 2 more at the end. So I've hit my quota of 10. Woohoo! Okay, so I'll let you take a picture of this. So I'm gonna grab some water. Take a picture if you need to. And then I'm going to erase the board. And of course, don't forget grammar. Where did I don't know if I used a little. Okay, so I used the grammar point here. Add a little pepper. So don't forget to try and use that in your assignment, okay? Okay, I'm going to erase in 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye, spinny, spinny. All right. Oh, yeah, look at all that black mess. Do you guys want to try poutine now that I've talked about it so much? I bet you wanna try some poutine. Okay. Oh my goodness, this ain't looking good. Okay, so. Okay. There's one little sentence. So I didn't have enough room, but I said for poutine, if you like, you can add a few more grammar. You can add a few green onion slices. Sorry, it should say slices of. My bad. So if you like, you can add a few slices of green onion on top of the poutine. I love to do this with my poutine especially. It gives it a nice, refreshing bit of a spicy kick. So there's another instance of me using the grammar, a few slices of green onion. Okay. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I'm so breathless. It's the heat, probably the heat. All right, so I'm going to get that out of the way. I just wanted to quickly add that, just so I can give you an idea one more time of how to use the grammar. Okay, last paragraph, woohoo! Okay, so finally I'm gonna talk about when people usually eat poutine. Okay, so this is my final paragraph. This could be like your last paragraph probably. This could be like your conclusion almost. So, I'm gonna say, yeah, people. I could even, you know what? Let's grammarify it and say, most people. There we go. Added more grammar. Woohoo! Most people eat this dish, or eat poutine. Eat this dish when they go out to the pub or to a restaurant. Okay, with their friends. With their friends. Okay, this is true. Poutine, typically, we go out to a pub, we might have a beer, or maybe it's just a restaurant, and you'll go out, and usually it's eaten with friends as an appetizer. So, poutine is usually eaten as an appetizer. And what's an appetizer? It's like a small little dish before lunch or dinner. As an appetizer before lunch or dinner. Although, okay, so here's another transitional phrase. Although, once again, grammar, some people, because people are countable, some people eat it as a snack, like me. Haha, sometimes I do that. Okay. All right. Whew, sorry, pardon me. Let me catch my breath again. Okie dokie. All right, so now I'm gonna try and close off my assignment here. So maybe I could do this by asking a question to the audience. Have you ever eaten poutine before? So that's kind of how I'm ending this. Have you ever eaten poutine? Have you ever eaten poutine? If not, please give it a try and see if you can make it at home. But remember, so this is my final transitional phrase, but remember, this dish is very oily and salty. So, another transitional phrase, it's not very healthy. Healthy. Therefore, okay, last transitional phrase. Therefore, please don't eat it too often. Okay. And then maybe I'll end it off by saying, happy cooking. So I'm kind of wishing you luck in the kitchen. Okay. So that's it. So basically, this is kind of how I closed off this. I think this is a pretty good conclusion here. But I made sure to talk about one of the points the assignment wants you to talk about, when people usually eat poutine. So, like I said, poutine, it's not like really a special holiday dish, but it's more of a dish you eat when you're going out with friends, you're having some beers maybe, or you go out and you party really hard and then it's late and you're hungry because you've been dancing so much, you're gonna get some poutine as a snack at night. So it's more of an appetizer or a snack, typically. Some people have it as their lunch or their dinner though. So then I closed off this assignment by saying, you know, I asked a question, have you ever tried poutine? Or do you want to try poutine? What do you think of it? Do you think it looks good? So I said, yeah, give it a try and cook it at home. But remember, this is true, by the way. So it's really salty, it's pretty greasy because it's fried food. And so that's not very good for you. So don't eat it too often. Like just eat it like once or twice a month maybe. Yeah, okay. So that is basically it. This is kind of how I'd like you guys to do your assignment. Of course, if yours is gonna look yours might look a bit different, and that is no problem. And once again, when you are doing the ingredients list, like if you're talking about, so for example, poutine, you're gonna need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of flour. You can write it like this. So this is how I wrote my ingredients. Or you can type out the ingredients like this. It doesn't matter. But for the rest of your assignment, I do want you to write it more like this, kind of like regular paragraph style, okay? Now, are there any questions before we sign off for today? We still have 8 minutes, sorry, we got 8 minutes of class left. So if you have any questions about the assignment, now is the time to talk. Oui. Alan will be here tomorrow to teach you. So if you have any questions about the assignment, you can also ask him. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I'm so out of breath today. I didn't even exercise super hard today. My bad. Okay, take a picture of this if you like, because I'm going to erase it in a few seconds. Grab my water for a sip. Okay, I'm going to erase it in 3, 2, 1, and farewell to our delicious, salty, savory, greasy poutine. Oh, yes. Okay. Now, what shall we do for the next 7 minutes? I could teach you some more vocabulary. Yeah, I think I'll do that because I think there's a few that I forgot to circle and that I kind of wanted to teach you. Okay, so that's all out of the way. All right, so we're going to do a little bit more vocabulary and then I'm going to let you go. Vocabulary. Okay, let's see. What do we have? Okay. This is one that I really wanted to teach you that I didn't. Boil. Okay. So boiling is where you use hot water to cook something. So when you use hot water to cook something. So something you're going to see very often in recipes is, it might say, bring the water to a boil and then add the pasta, for example. Okay, so usually, not always, but when you are boiling a pot of water, so it's not boiling yet, usually you don't add anything. But once it gets hotter, the bubbles start to come up and then it comes to a rolling boil. And then that's when you can add pasta. I'm just gonna write pasta, I'm not gonna draw it. So this is what boil means. That's one that I wanted to teach you. Okay, what was another one? Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to find my, saute. Oh, this is a good one. Sauté. This is a French word. You can tell because it has an accent over the E. It's all fancy. All right. So what does sauté means? So sauté means to quickly, this is in your list, by the way, so I won't write the meaning out. But to saute something means to quickly fry food in a frying pan. It's a little bit different from frying. It's not deep fry. So maybe it's something you do for like 3 or 5 minutes. Okay. So I could say saute the onions until they are golden brown. One of the most popular colors in the cooking world. Okay, so here's a frying pan. And so you're gonna add a little bit of oil and then you're gonna fry your onions. Okay, just pretend these are onions. So you're not frying them for a long time, it's just a short time. That is the difference between fry and saute. Okay, I'll let you look at that, take some pictures if you like. I'm gonna erase it in just a second. Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Gone. I like sauteing a lot of my food. I sauteed some mushrooms for lunch actually. I made quinoa with avocado sauce and sauteed mushrooms. I sauteed the mushrooms in butter. It was so good. It was great. Okay. Roast, that's a good one. Okay. Okay, so roast. This is on your sheet as well. So it is to cook in the oven or over a fire. Now roast is typically only used for meat. As far as I know, usually it's just used for meat. I could be wrong. I guess there's roasted vegetables. Typically it's for savory things, not sweet things. So usually it's for like meat or vegetables, like roasted vegetables. Roast beef is a popular one. So for example, every summer, my dad would roast a pig over an open fire. Okay, this is not true. It was actually my dad's friend who would do this. Okay, so I should have said my dad's friend, which is true. So every summer, my dad's friend would roast an entire pig over an open fire at his farm. And yeah, he had his friends over and like it was really yummy. So roast, typically it's in the oven or it's over an open fire. So I'll draw a little picture to demonstrate. Whoop, whoop. Okay, here's the piggy. It's dead, don't worry, it's not alive. So here's the open fire. So this is what roast is, like one example of roast. Open fire or oven. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. And we might have time to teach you one last word before we finish up. Okay. Oh, I totally missed this section. Oh well. Okay. Actually, I think we are pretty good. Okay. I think we will actually leave it off there because I've given you guys a lot of words already. So, for your assignment, once again, remember it is due on Wednesday before class. Don't be afraid to use this sheet to help you with vocabulary ideas for your assignment. Again, you don't have to use the words that I taught you. You can use any of the words in here. This is indispensable. Please use it. And for the grammar, if you're having trouble with it, please do refer back to these because they are very useful for explaining the grammar. Countable, uncountable foods we have right here. So feel free to take a look at those for review. All right, guys, so that is pretty much all I have to tell you, I think. So I'm going to be back here on Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to seeing your assignments and the recipes you write up. Maybe I'll learn a new recipe to cook at home. Okay, guys, hope you had a great time, and thank you for your participation and tuning in. I will see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye. Bye.